Wow. Talk about. Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is 4 December 2013, and before what you hear in the background, the music you hear, because every time I talk, I always have my television on one of the music channels. And just so happened, I just had a synchronistic moment, because what you hear in the background is the song called Games People Play by the Spinners. How you doing? You doing okay? I hope that you're still working on that turkey. I know it was good. Hopefully you were around friends and family, and that was reflected. So, how are you? You doing fine? That's great. You got a partner here, I decided to let God do what He wishes. So I'm just rolling with it. I'm just a spiritual body in a physical form. But what I wanted to talk to you today is I was on YouTube, and for the last 3 weeks, maybe a longer, I kind of saw a theme of people talking about the spirit of Jezebel. And I know that people have done songs, they wrote about it, but the greatest story ever told was found in the Bible. Now, for those who do not know who Jezebel was, from my interpretation, she was a witch, and she used illusion and manipulation and control to more or less convey what she wanted to do. And what I mean by that is she presented herself as a prophetess, underlining she was actually worshiping Baal. And Baal is just in layman's terms, he was a strong foot soldier or a commander for Satan. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Gerald, what reference does that have now? Okay, this is why I'm putting this out. If you've ever been in a situation where there was some control or some manipulation or deception, or pretty much you've scratched your head and it's caused you to more or less question the way you think. Now, first of all, I know my subscribers are on it. We all want the same thing. We have the same common thread. We just want to live in peace. We want to be harmonious and fruitful in our family structures, but we just want to live right. And I also know with your foundation, you have, at a minimum, a spiritual belief. Now, with that being said, pardon me, I was born, I love you, Mom, with long eyelashes, and I get that from my mom. So every now and then, they want to act up, but anyway, because we're human beings, you have to interact with other people, and as you know, we learn from our experiences, may it be good or bad. But did you know that a lot of the things that have been challenging was from or derived from a Jezebel spirit? Now, some of you already know when you hear that term, like, oh, you're a Jezebel. That is someone that is considered very disrespectful to not only to themselves, they're self-sacrificing, very self-righteous, and they're willing to do anything they can to distract you from your purpose or walk. So, with that in perspective, you may not know that you have come in contact with someone that has been been touched, that has had have been exposed to the Jezebel Spirit. This is how you know. When you come in contact with these people, maybe friends, family, or associates, if you want to use that term loosely, they have a self-righteous position. When you take time to communicate with them, it's as if you are speaking a foreign language. Here's another thing. No matter where your heart is, from the most sincere point of view, they're going to spin it. Why? Because you're speaking truth. See, that's what Jezebel does. Her spirit exists in that realm, that the words that are not said, that are not said, conveyed by an action. Here's how you also know. Friend, family, or colleague. When they see that you are trying to take steps to better yourself, they make every point to tear you down. And then when you turn around to challenge that, you get to see a side of them that you never saw before, which can be very daunting. That's a Jezebel spirit. Because you got to understand, as we already know, your higher power, my higher power as I know him, is my Lord Jesus Christ. He is love, unconditional love. And I'm going to continue to beat this drum. He wants you to have the life intended. But you got to roll your sleeves up and do the work, because the world doesn't owe you anything. However, we already know the devil, all he does is kill and destroy. So he's got his minions, which, well, there's Baal. He's like the commander. And you have Jezebel. She supports him with the whole mindset of destroying your life, destroying your purpose. They want to leave you emotionally, physically, and spiritually depleted. They want you to be, they're going to use you up like a battery. That's what it's about. Here's how I know you. This is how you know, my queens. Check this out. Let's just say that you meet somebody. They're very, very intriguing to you. They've got your attention, right? And as you start to invest in the conversation to get to better know this person, right off the bat, they're going to hit you with the questions that you deem intimate. And it's going to catch you off guard. It's going to catch you off like, whoa, hey, I'm just telling you what I like and I don't like. You talking about what I like to do behind closed. That's a Jezebelian spirit. Because Jezebel used her sexuality to go after the men that were spiritually called. And every time she used her seduction, every time that she was able to break this person, she gloated. It empowered her ego and her pride. She wore it as a badge of honor. Little did she know that all it was doing was solidifying her fate. So you got to be very careful who you come in contact with. Here's another way that you know that you're dealing with the Jezebel spirit. Check this out. Beautiful day, mind's right, body's tight, focused and vigilant, and you go to work. Walk into your work environment. Doesn't matter who it is. And then you see people start gossiping. They're gossiping. When they should be focusing on themselves, they're focusing on someone else. And usually it's the person that is at a weaker state of mind. They're malicious, vindictive, and cowardly. For little do they know, the person that is the perpetrator of that has that spirit in them. And as we already know, like-minded attracts like-minded. So you're going to have those that are going to gravitate to that. Why? Because these people don't see their worth. They're like the sheep in the field. They're being led to slaughter. That's why it's very important that you stay true to yourself. You have to do that. You have to discern. Look at your life. Look at the revelations of the peaks and valleys that have gone through your life. Look at the hardships that you have gone through. Yet, you have made it through. It was your higher power that brought you through. For those that are going through things right now, I'm going to say right off the bat, every time that you feel alone, you feel like there's a void that you just want to quench, but you don't know how, pick up the poem, Footprints. Footprints. Read it. That's my favorite poem. My second favorite poem is by Robert Frost, The Road Less Traveled. See, your journey is your journey. You know, I tell everybody has a story, but it is your responsibility how it's going to be told. That is your destiny. So until you can actually see your worth, it will not be illustrated or conveyed as you see fit, because you're not putting dominion where it should be. Here's another way that you can find that you know that you've been exposed to a Jezebel spirit, or the spirit of Jezebel. If you're a parent, one of your children just nuts up. There's a disconnect there. And no matter where your heart is, or because you as a parent only want the best or the betterment of your child, but it seems like you can't reach that child. Like you're talking in a foreign language. You're at a point of like, well, I don't want to lay hands on my child, but what is it going to take to wake them up? This is what you do. First of all, you be a parent first. Be a friend second. Because, trust when I'm saying this, those who've taken the road of being the friend instead of the parent have a lot of regret that they're dealing with right now. I told somebody the other day, I said, I would rather be that parent that you would more or less not like, but it caused you to think for a second before what you did, and that laid the foundation for the successes that you will have, than be your best friend and I gotta visit you in jail. First of all, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Sorry. I don't worry about what society says, because you are an extension of me. Here's another way you know that you've been exposed to Jezebel. The people that are in your circle, right? The people that you have laid a foundation of trust. First of all, you all got a commonality because you think alike. That's where that proverbial birds of a feather flock together. But see, those who have a Jezebel spirit don't like the truth. And the more truth that you tell, the more aggressive they become. They try to do everything they can to convince you that you are the one that has the problem. But their actions are the ones that are illustrated. Don't worry about that. You stay true to you. Though we do not have control, we ain't got control of what the next man does. We don't. But we do have the authority to pray for him. I'm a firm believer somebody prayed for me, and I'm glad, and I'll probably never know, but I will say from the bottom of my heart, amen. Because God brought me through. He brought me through. Now listen, as I convey what I'm conveying to you, if you're getting to that point where you just want to, like, I ain't trying to hear that, it's because you got a Jezebel spirit in you. And Jezebel don't want you to have it. You don't want to have. Jezebel will distract your life at all costs. Because see, they see your worth, but they know that you don't. And they will use little tactics of manipulation to keep you shackled to them. You got to see your worth. You got to claim your power. Your power is nothing more or less is your spirit, your spiritual purpose, your walk. Only you can do that. Only you can define that. But don't you realize you're not supposed to be crying? Why are you crying right now? Why you got that burden in your heart? Why you got that shame? Okay. See, right now what you're doing is embracing the clarity of choice. But that's exactly what it was. Look at it like this. If you had the tools or the knowledge that you have right now, do you actually think you would have made the choices you made then? You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have. So stop beating yourself up. Allow yourself to evolve and grow. I know I'm talking to somebody right now, you don't even know it, but you are tapped to be a multi-millionaire. You've got an idea that is so phenomenal, but you're so distracted in your steps, you don't know how to bring it to the world. I'm going to tell you something. The more you gravitate to him, the more clarity he's going to give you. But don't give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself. That's what the Jezebel Spirit wants to do. Her essence is more or less like a light bearer. What is found in your heart will be manifested through your connections or your contacts. So let's look at it like this. Let's just say you got, thank you for the synchronicity, silver shadow. That ain't nothing but another word, another way of saying spirit. Thank you, my angels. Now, because I'm all about truth. You know, it's not easy. You know, your life ain't supposed to be easy, because if everything came to you easy, it wouldn't have no value or worth. So you got to go through trials and tribulations to validate you. That's why you're priceless. That's why there's only one you. So don't worry about who's trying to get in your ear. What you need to realize and consider is why they're trying to get in your ear. Why is it about you? What is it about you that's drawing these contacts? What is the common denominator? And then take that information and apply it to where you've been. If you see a main theme, it's because that's what's at attack. That's what's being attacked. Because trust when I say this, when I embraced my spiritual journey, October 2011, which is the greatest choice I made, there was a full-scale out war on my life. Full-scale out war. The things that I thought I valued were attacked to break my spirit, so I would settle in my misery. Because the devil wanted me, he wanted my soul. He knew how valuable my soul is. So what did he do? He made it so that I would run into contacts with people that would challenge the way I thought. But look at it this way. Now, because you got free will and accord, if they ain't building you up, why they there? I'm just saying. Or I got one better. Like I told you, my queens. Remember when I told you a couple months ago, a couple videos back, I said, you want to see who truly has your best interest? I said, I was trying to say very respectfully to you. And only you know this. The people of the opposite sex. Unexpectedly, when you're having conversations with them, or you had intimate relations with them, just tell them, hey, you know what? I decided that I want to abstain. And just leave it as that. If you get more negative influx because of a decision that is best for you, that's your red flag right there. That also is an indicator of how they see you. But have courage, my queen. Have courage, my king. I'll flip it better. I'll flip it back for you. My kings. Look at all the connections you have made through your walk. Now, you turn around and take this position. When you're in contact with these people, may have been the fact that you have soul ties with them because you didn't know. You didn't know. You didn't see your worth of your body. Hey, we've been there, bro. We've been there. But this is what you do. When you're in contact with these people, find the common denominator that connects you. May it be sex, may it be support, whatever it is. And then you turn around and say, well, you know, I want to take more responsibility, and I think I'm going to restructure my finances so things are going to be tight. Leave it alone. What you're going to see is going to be like fleas on a dog. They're going to jump. That's why I always say, leave your spiritual door open. Leave it. And watch what's going to happen. First of all, if you're interacting with the opposite sex, shouldn't she be building you up? She should be taking a position of grace because she sees her worth and value. Because she knows she has a very important role, not only for you, but for her life. She has been deemed woman, and she respects herself. Yes, we go through periods of time where we bump our head. We make decisions because we allow our temptation. And that's another thing. That's what Jezebel is all about. She's about tempting you through the things that you fear. So somebody turns around and says, well, you know what? You know, I want you to, I thought you had my back. I thought that, you know, but I'm going through hard times myself. You can only stay in hard times unless you lay in hard times. Because only you can get yourself out of hard times. But not until you see your work. Not until. And what they'll do is they'll shake it up and come up with angles. So, well, you know what? This will be the last time. Or, how about we work this out? They'll even say, well, you know what? I'll sign a piece of paper. Knowing in the back of their mind, they have no intentions on delivering. Why? Because they don't see your worth. Because if they did, wouldn't they invest in themselves to make sure that they came off the same way as the energy that you give off to reciprocate back to you? You can't do that. You know, you can't do that until that vessel is filled. So what'll happen is they're going to show you a side of them you never saw. They're going to start acting up and acting out. And the more that you stand your conviction, the more things will be revealed. Why? Because your higher power sees your worth. You're a child of His. He protects His own. That is why sometimes, first of all, you're supposed to discern. If you're finding yourself doing this, scratching your head like, I know I ain't tripping, it's because what you're seeing is truth. But do not take a place or a position of judgment. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because every time you do that, guess what? You're setting yourself up to have that same energy brought to you from someone else. Because that's what Jezebel does. Jezebel will bring someone. It's just another picture from the same book to sway your judgment and use the things that find temptation in you to block your growth, man. To block that growth. You may be saying, you know what? I've been working hard. I want to get me a vehicle, or there may be a possession that you really feel that you deserve. You've done the work. But it seems like every time you take a step closer to obtaining that because you've sowed good seeds, there's always someone or something to challenge you, to knock you in your butt. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Stay focused. Leave that spiritual door open. That's why it's very important that you invest in you. I know somebody's hearing what I'm saying. I know your heart's doing this. I'm speaking to you, ain't I? It's because it's true, sweetie. It's true, my king. You deserve it. But you got to be able to look at it. Now, how do you combat yourself against the Jezebel spirit? And here's a big one too. Sometimes, no, I'm going to speak truth. Sometimes the Jezebel spirit was already pre-existent in your family, in your lineage. That's where a generational curse is manifested, because it has a stronghold. And what I mean by stronghold is perception of way of thinking. Yeah. And you may have learned something what daddy did, and you thought that, well, that's how I'm supposed to emulate, because they hold the template of your growth. So you may have saw your sister just being buck wild, or just. And here's the thing too. Here's another telltale sign that the people you come in contact may have the grips of Jezebel in them, and they haven't come to terms with that because they are emotionally drunk. Like I said, it feels like you can't reach them. So therefore, if you can't, their actions are very narcissistic. They show no remorse. They actually are jubilant from their actions. They're like, I can't believe I got away with this. I can't believe this person didn't see it coming. So that's Jezebel. Because what you don't realize is Jezebel will use that person to attack the other person, but all the while it's feeding like a tick. It is latched in and it is sucking that person's essence away. And until that is purged from that person. And usually these people take a position of denial, and this has always been the way they've handled their business, because they don't take ownership of their life. So once again, if you don't take ownership of your life, you're allowing someone else to try to take ownership of it for you, and you don't deserve that. And that's why I always say to you, look at the people that you've allowed in your life. Look at it. Now look at the common theme. Now the common denominator we already know is you. You're connected to these people. Usually 9 times out of 10 it is a soul tie. because you allowed this person, first of all, access of your temple. And here's another thing. This is how you know. This is a constant battle that you're going to fight. But the more and more that you fortify your spiritual walk with your higher power, what will happen is, every time that you have to deal with this person, you will have a courage about yourself because you're not doing it by yourself. First of all, you've got angels around you. You've got spirit guides around you. 9 times out of 10, your spirit guides are probably people that were connected to you that have passed on, or people that you had a significant connection with and they are not here. But because the love that they had for you was so unconditional, they don't want to see you in harm's way. So when it's deemed, they will act in your behalf. So when you see those things and you shake your head and say, that's a miracle, no, first of all, that's God. That's His validation of letting you know, hey baby, my queen, my king, my child, I'm with you, and I love you so much, I might bring somebody in passing to speak something out of their mouth, but it resonates inside your soul. That's how we do. He may use something that you're passionate about. He may use music, and you hear something that you never heard before, even though you may have heard that song millions of times. It clicks, like, oh, because he knows your connection is with that. So he'll use that to talk to you. It's just letting you know, hey, when you're tired of suffering, when are you going to fortify your self-esteem and self-worth? Don't you realize you are my child, and I'm going to make sure that you have the life intended, but I can't do anything. I can't do anything until you allow me control of your life. You've got to put me first. And that's where we're caught up in those we're caught up in those circumstances. Just to let you know, and first of all, I want to give a shout out to Radisha Angel, because she was talking about it first, and just so happened I saw it, and it just validated everything that I'd already known. Just didn't know exactly what was being revealed to me through synchronicity. But she pointed it out. If you have a Bible, great. Got a smartphone, allow yourself to put the app on there. But if you look at Revelations chapter 2, and read from verse 18 through 24. Just read it and let it resonate. And I guarantee you, when you finish reading it, you're going to know exactly who that describes. Now, even though she was a witch and she used manipulation, she used sex magic, she used any trick of the trade to more or less contaminate her victim, they had to first give dominion to her. Now, her greatest victory was Abraham. Not Abraham, Abraham. He was a king, but because he was so enticed over her, or her beauty, he wanted her, and in turn he lost his will and allowed her to take dominion over him. So in essence, he lost his voice to his spirit. Here's another thing. You know how when you interact with somebody of significance and you're conflicted and you're like, I'm tired of arguing with these people. You know what? I'm just going to take the approach of picking my battles and whatever. I'm just going to go with the flow. That's the Jezebel Spirit. Because that's what Jezebel wants. Jezebel doesn't want you nowhere near God at all. Why? Because she's in hell. She wants to use anything she can to bring you to her, because you're an offering to Belial. Belial works for Satan. So she may turn around and say, okay, I'm going to manifest a beautiful man. He's going to be intellectual. His words sound like honey to your ear. But every time that you interact with this guy, your finances take a beating. Your body takes an even bigger beating. And it's caused you to challenge the way you think. You are in the midst of someone that doesn't have your best interest at all. And before I forget, because I'm still a babe in the Word, that's why I tell you, I'm not a minister, but I have a strong faith and discernment. And I love myself and I see my worth. Here's another thing you got to be careful. And this is how you know. And I'm going to wrap this up because I'm getting ready to go on 40. This is the top sign that you're dealing with a Jezebel or a spiritual attack, because that's what I'm describing. The people that you come in contact with, they've got a spiritual knowledge, and they'll use that to compromise you. They'll use that as a guilt complex. You know the old proverbial saying, do as I say, not as I do? It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. That's why they come off with a position of being self-righteous. Why? Because they've got evil intentions inside their heart that was maybe not knowing they were exposed to. That's why the heart was attacked. That's why they say that the heart also has love and evil, but it is also the same as the tongue. That's why you got to be very conscious of what comes out your mouth. That's why you're not supposed to judge nobody. No matter what the temptation is, you're not supposed to judge. You're supposed to stay prayed up, and the more you draw closer to God, the more He's gonna bless you. But it must come from a pure place. And this is another thing. The more you gravitate towards God, like I said, the Spirit, we're all spiritually going to be going through spiritual attack. But look at your life. Look at the people that you allow access to you. Maybe a friend, family, especially family. This person, it never fails. When you're going through something, they are not too far. They're not too far. And they're sitting in the back of their mind plotting, like, you know what? I need to more or less put some traps out there, because if they get to their path, then I'm not going to have control over them. I won't get them to do what I want them to do. Or I'm going to say it like a man. I'm only going to give her what she needs, but at the end of the day, she's going to pull them panties off. I don't care what she say. You know what I'm talking about, Queen. You may have chose to distance yourself from somebody that you realize and see now, after all the emotional abuse and vindication that this person's done. But you know that when you come around them, they make you weak. How many times have you turned around and you knew in your heart, you said, you know what, if I go over there, I'm only going to stay there for 5 minutes. I'm not even going to go in the house. Because you know that you're still weak. And what they do, they're going to use all the charm. They're going to say all the right things. And then it compromises you. Well, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to stay long. Something that should have took 10 minutes, should have took 5 minutes, then turned 10 minutes. Then next thing you know, you're looking at the signal. You're looking at the ceiling, and you're getting beat up sexually. And then next thing you know, you're picking up your underwear. It should have been on your hips, and You, what they call taking a walk of shame. You're in the car mad at yourself. Like, how could I have been so stupid? Because that was Jezebel in the flesh. She was using him to get to you. Vice versa. Because that's the art of manipulation. A person that uses manipulation for their own agenda, first of all, energy out is energy in. Everything that you've done, you're going to have to atone for it. Every one of them. That's another reason why. That's why women don't like admitting how many sexual partners they have. I'm just speaking. I'm not beating you up, Queen. Because see, your pride and ego gets in the way. But look at it like this. When you come into contact with a man and intimacy has already come up the beginning, he don't know you, right there, that should be a red flag. But if you've had a long-standing relationship with someone, think back. If before you guys even interacted into that, did he once ask you about how many partners you had? And if he didn't, guess what? It's because he didn't care. If anything, look at it from a medical standpoint. He's basically saying, you know what? I don't value you. I don't value your body. You're just a tool. And those people are dangerous. Because if they're not willing to speak the truth, to ask for themselves, then you know they ain't thinking about you. You're just a cog in the wheel. So respect yourself, Queen. Respect yourself, King. You guys do not know how many blessings are coming your way. But there's a price to be you. And you're priceless. So come on now. So lastly, if you're going through something right now that is very challenging and you feel afraid, you've tried to talk to people that you want willing to be truthful with and confide your emotions, but yet it still leaves you unsatisfied. They don't have your best interest. They don't. But what you do doesn't matter where you at. You ask God to come into your life. You ask God for forgiveness. Atone for your actions. Get out of your head, women. You do it all the time. All you do is think. You're emotional beings. But it's not your purpose to wear that emotional baggage. It's not. Don't worry about who ain't in your life. They're not in your life because they don't deserve you. They don't deserve you. Because if they did, they'd be moving mountains to be with you. But you got to be honest with yourself. Stop running. Another man's smile is not going to fix that pain you're feeling in your heart. With that pain that's feeling in your heart, that's that discernment saying, you know what? That's that little girl or little boy saying, when you going to be truthful to me? When you going to stop abusing me? When you going to stop allowing people to disrespect you? When you going to turn around and allow that creativity that I keep giving you? When are you going to take courage and step up and claim it? Listen, y'all. God is talking. If this ain't synchronicity, well, once again, thank you, my angels. You hear this in the background? That's Gene Carn. Don't let it go to your head. That's right. When you decide to follow your heart, you'll get out of your head. Because right now, all you're doing is time. You're a prisoner within yourself. If I had the ability, I would hug each and every one of you, because some of you have gone through some things that you did not deserve. It was not your fault. You hear me? It was not your fault. So stop carrying that burden as if it was. That is not your burden. It is theirs. And until they atone for it, their life is not going to manifest as it should. It's like looking at a clock going backwards. You're not going ahead, you're going behind. So you've got to claim your worth, okay? You're going to be fine. You're going to be alright, my man. You're going to be fine. Trust Him. Trust Him. And yes, have courage. If it means that you've got to, make this point right now. We getting ready to roll up into 2014. You make sure that you leave those behind that don't see your worth. They don't deserve you. They don't see the beautiful heart that you got. They don't see your worth or value. And they hoping that you don't grow. Have courage. You're going to be fine. So, I done broke 45. I didn't want to do it, but I felt that somebody needed to hear this. You fine. If you can understand where you're going, it is so sweet. You're going to be fine. When you look back, you're going to smile. You're going to have a smile. You're going to have a smile that's going to light a room up. Because God sees your worth. And watch what He does. He's going to bring people around you that are going to build you up. Because guess what? It's a like-mindedness. These people are truly authentic. And guess what? You can be authentic too, demonically. You have some people, because they're so broken, they will boister. They'll be bold about it. Like, yeah, that's right. I sleep with everybody. Yeah, I don't care. I use it, and put their business out there like it's a badge of honor. What you need to do is, when a person tells you something, you need to take it for what it is, because they're actually being truthful. Okay? Alright. Well, look, guys, I hope you have a blessed day. I hope your week has been going fine. And just allow God to navigate your steps. And you'll be surprised when you least expect it, what He reveals to you. Okay? As I always say, God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth because I know mine. You guys stay protected and have a blessed week. Bye for now.